So look, you try every single real estate lead generation tactic you find on the internet. You sign up for all these lead generation platforms like Zillow, Bold Leads, Realtor.com, Market Leader, and so on and so forth. And you try different tools you find online to send out branded emails or AI and social media tools. And you can do all of these things, but at the end of the day, yes, you may take one step forward, but in reality, you just take two steps back. Now, unless you let go of this one thing I'm gonna reveal in this video, you have to wave goodbye to becoming a top producing real estate agent, because what you're doing is you're building a house on a foundation of sand. And no matter how beautiful the house, how many designer tools you buy there, it will eventually collapse unless you do this one thing I'm going to talk about in this video. So look, the fact is that if you're like most real estate agents, right now you'd think that you need to find the right tool for a lead generation platform. You need to sign up with the platform, and then the platforms themselves, they hand out for you those ready to go hot leads that are going to be ready to go right now, and they have the perfect homes you're looking to sell. Now, the truth is, the same goes with the marketing. So most real estate agents believe that there's a right tool or there's a right kind of a thing I can try here, put that in place, and it's gonna automatically send out those beautiful, really relevant, right on point emails or right on point content that's going to put it out to the database or just post it under social media platforms. Now, here's the truth, because when you approach your marketing, when you approach your lead generation this way, what you're doing effectively is that you're releasing all of that control, probably 50 to 80% of your entire business, back to these tools, back to these templates, back to these platforms. Now look, not only everybody else is using these same tools, getting the same leads, sending out the same emails, and sending out the same social media posts, where every agent looks exactly like the other real estate agents, kind of like a clone of real estate agents, but it also means that you're releasing the ropes of your entire business when it comes down to getting new clients. And if you're not getting new clients in your real estate business, there's nothing you can really do about it, because you're, again, not in control of these systems. You are not the architect of these systems. And after working with hundreds of real estate agents one-on-one over the last half a decade, I can tell you that really the real estate agents, probably 80% are in this position. Their marketing is reliant on these tools. It's reliant on these platforms, on these templates, on these different things. And when 80% of real estate agents are in these situations, it also means that large majority of real estate agents in different markets really lose money with these tools or lose money with these platforms and get really nothing out of it. Sure, maybe they get a deal here or two, but when you look at the math, when you look at the time spent, you look at the economics of these things, really they're at best breaking even. And even if you are in that situation yourself, where maybe you're lucky, maybe you are in a kind of fortunate market where there's not a lot of competition in these platforms or tools, and let's say these things work for you. I mean, at the end of the day, sure, it can add you 1 to 5 deals, maybe 10 deals a year, but you're still not getting to the point where you really want to go to with your real estate business. So let's look at this for a second. To become a top producing real estate agent, you want to get the time, get the freedom, get the income you wanted when you sign up to be a real estate agent in the first place, likely many years ago. The fact is simple. You need to get a lot of clients in a way that's time effective and in a way that's going to be also financially effective. And to get a lot of clients, you need to get a lot of local people in your market to think of you as the number one real estate agent they want to work with when it comes down to making that real estate transaction, making a move, whether buying a house or selling a house. In other words, you need to establish a well-known and trusted personal brand as a real estate professional in your local market. Now, how can this be achieved? Well, I can tell you that it cannot be achieved by putting out automated content with pre-made posts, or posting generic content that everybody else is posting, or posting just sold, just listed, anything like that. Again, the content creation aspect of your marketing in this day and age we live in is the single most important aspect of your inbound client attraction systems. And to successfully delegate this, just to get somebody else to just do it, is nearly impossible for most real estate agents. Now, imagine you're running for a president. Who would be doing the rally speeches, right? Would that be you, or would you hire somebody else to do the rally speeches, right, and get the same results? You wouldn't, right? Obviously, only you could do it ultimately when it comes down to delivery. You could get some help with the scripts, you could get some help with the messaging, but ultimately you have to be the person that's actually out there and doing the speeches. And this is why so many people are not getting any results from their content automation services or content automation tools, and really just waste thousands and thousands of dollars in commissions every single year when it comes down to, sure, the software fees, but ultimately the opportunity cost, how much money they're missing out on. Because if you're missing out on one listing a month, we're talking about 100 grand, $200,000 a year that you're actually just missing out on. It's not just a tool that you're paying for. So the key insight here is that you need to be able to be the one that's in control of your marketing and creating your marketing, building up your personal brand, and really runs these marketing systems. Again, you can get some help, but you have to be the person that's actually in control of them, in the ownership of them, and actually inside the actual marketing. And the truth is, ultimately, consumer behavior research actually consistently shows the same exact results. People that know the brand, people that like the brand, people that trust the brand are ultimately going to be the one that's going to be purchasing the brand. So people like to do business, people like to buy things they're familiar with, and then they don't like to do things they're not familiar with. And this is kind of common sense, but because of this, personalized marketing and personal branding can't be replicated by these generic tools. It's a little bit like Steve Jobs actually said.
Marketing's about values. This is a very complicated world. It's a very noisy world. And we're not going to get a chance to get people to remember much about us.
And so we have to be fully clear on what we want these people to know about us and really know about our personality, know about our services, etc. And when it comes down to lead generation, if you're buying leads from platforms like every other agent is also doing, there's just no really competitive advantage in doing that. You're paying the same cost, you're paying the same price, you're getting the same exact leads, you get the leads from the same source, or if you're using ads that also everybody else is also doing, again, the same exact thing happens, where you're paying the same cost, same price, same exact warmth of leads. So you don't have any competitive advantage to running a strategy that's really kind of templated or very generic that everybody else is also doing. And in most cases, people don't even expect your call, because if you don't have personality in your ads, if you don't have personality in your funnels, you're just using something that's already templated or just generic things, right? If you don't have any personal branding in the funnels, you may have experienced, well, okay, you get the leads, but you call the leads and they just have no idea who you are, they're not expecting the call, or just very kind of like resistant into working with you. And that's exactly what happens, is that if you don't have these things in place, if people don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't see you as a number one option, you're just gonna build like a dead list of leads, just dead contact information that has no use to it. And again, this can work. Let's say you get 300 leads, 500 leads, sure, then you could maybe get one deal from that, right? But only you can ultimately build your personal brand, and only you can create a situation for yourself where, okay, people go to that funnel, they become your lead, and they really, really wanna work with you. They really, really are interested into hiring you specifically. And because of that reason, it's a much better idea to do this work here on the front end. Build your personality, build your own content, build your own funnels, be in the funnels yourself. Because these are the things you create one time and thousands of local people will see. As again, if you just kind of skip that, right? If you just get generic templates, you ultimately have to do the work anyway. You have to call the leads, you have to build the relationships anyway. So you much rather do it in a scalable way where you have these thousands of people just see you right in the marketing, and you do the easier work than when you actually talk with the people. Because again, people are already familiar with you. And so this is what creates that solid foundation for your business, for your marketing. And this is only going to be the trend moving forward. So for years to come, a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, 5 years later, it's going to be a mandatory thing that has to be in your marketing. If this is not in your marketing, you're just not going to get anything out of it. The ad costs, everything else is going to go up and up and up. So ultimately, if it rather, again, do this right now than try to do this when you have to do it. Now, having said this, when you do your marketing like this, when you build your own content, you build your own personal brand, what you're really doing is you're building a house that's based on a solid foundation. And when you build a house on a solid foundation, it's going to be there for years to come, even maybe decades to come. So unfortunately, because most real estate agents fail to realize the weight of this, they find themselves paying for all kinds of expensive softwares, all kinds of expensive tools, all kinds of expensive leads, and just end up basically with a database full of leads that basically just go nowhere. And they have to kind of go through this constant feeling of constantly chasing these leads. So always going back to the database, doing the cold calls, and then just buying the next lead tool and the next lead tool and the next lead tool. And ultimately, the best thing that maybe they could get is like a tool that works for a little bit. Maybe they get a 2x ROI and then just move on to the next thing and they have to find the next tool, which almost always kind of drains the resources of both financially, right? Of course, because you have to spend the money on these leads, have to spend the money on these different tools, but also ultimately emotionally, because every time you buy a new tool, you have to set it up, you have to look at if it works, you have to look if it doesn't work, then you have to fix it, and all these different things. You just have to constantly change these things over and over again. And based on what I've learned myself during the last half a decade of working with real estate agents, where there is a marketing strategy that works, there is a strategy that really clicks and really gets you results, that's a strategy you often run for years to come. But when you find something that really works, you don't need to always be changing it around or buying a new tool, new thing, right? When you find something that works, it usually lasts for multiple years to come. And so to break this cycle, if right now you are in this cycle where you're buying different tools or trying different strategies, the answer is simple. What you need to do is you need to get back on track that you are in control of your marketing, and you need to refocus the core of your business, which is building relationships. And according to research done by even National Association of Realtors, 33% of listings come from referrals. So 1 in 3 listings come from referrals. And that should tell you how important, how crucial it is to build relationships with your marketing, to position yourself kind of like as I go to real estate agents, go to real estate research for these local homeowners. And ultimately, what it means is building your personal brand. So instead of handing off, again, 50-80% of control of your business to a lead platform or to a marketing tool or to anything else, take the control yourself, because then you'll understand if it's working and if it's not working. And if it's not working, it has worked, but it doesn't work anymore, you'll understand that, okay, why it's not working, so you can fix that yourself. So you don't have to buy a new tool, you just fix the problem. But ultimately what's going to happen is that you start to build your personal brand, because the truth is that right now as a realtor, if you are spending, let's say $2,000 a month on Zillow leads, that's $24,000 per year. Now, having said this, even if it's working for you, right? If you're still putting the money to leads and if it's working for you, ultimately you're still not building your long term. You're still not building your personal brand, because when it comes out to paying the money, sure, you get the leads, but you're not getting any visibility. You're not getting any personal branding out there. If you build your own systems, as an example, on social media, what's going to happen is that, sure, we're getting the leads, sure, we're qualifying the leads, we're getting return on the front end, and you are in control of what kind of leads are you getting. Are you getting buyer lead or are you getting listing leads, right? You are fully in control of that. But having said this, in the meanwhile, as you run this, as an example, many of our clients have had 2 million impressions, 3 million impressions per year in their local market. So in addition to, again, spending the money and getting the ROI on the short term, over the long term, you build yourself a situation where people see your ads, they see your face, they see your marketing, they see your message, in addition to getting the short-term return. So over the long term, you build yourself a situation where a lot of local people will start to recognize you, connect with you, and again, kind of seeing you as a local real estate agent they really want to work with. So this way, ultimately, after running your ads for, let's say, 2 years, 3 years, you get into a position where you have thousands of local people, again, that know you, like you, and trust you, and again, that allows you to get more of these referrals, more of these long-term business opportunities as well, instead of just only the short-term ones that you're kind of stuck with, let's say with Zillow. So stop sending out, if right now you're sending out generic emails, you're sending out market updates the brokerage gives you, any of these things, if you're doing these things right now, stop doing these things. Write your own and put your own voice behind it. Just try it one time and you'll see the results immediately. Now, if you are buying leads from these platforms, stop doing that and figure out a way to build your own lead generation systems. And whether that's going to be Facebook ads, or whether it's going to be Instagram ads or YouTube ads, whatever you decide, do it in a way that you are in the ads yourself. make them work yourself in your exact market. Now that's gonna make a significant difference for how much you're paying for leads, how good leads you're getting, all these different things. But over the long term, it's also gonna build you a situation where, again, you're getting that side effect of your marketing, that third order consequence, fourth order consequence, fifth order consequence, kind of how we covered in the previous videos. So by shifting your focus from these areas we just discussed over to these areas we wanted to do, you're ultimately not just building lead generation system. You're not just getting leads and then getting maybe a small return, but ultimately building a dead database, right? But you're building yourself a community of advocates for your real estate business. Because as we discussed, 33% of real estate transaction listings go based off referrals. So again, when you notice that statistic, when you understand that statistics and you fully internalize it, you just understand how important the side effect of your marketing is and how important really, again, your personal branding is when it comes down to building your real estate business. Now you're thinking long term, you're not thinking short term, how most people tend to think about. Now, you're building a brand, but when you build a brand, you're building yourself an asset, and when you build yourself an asset, it's gonna consistently produce for you. It's gonna consistently get these local people to reach out to you, ask you from a place where they're already familiar with you, ready to work with you, and you are fully in control of it. So again, you can control fully how many people you're also getting per month.